Yeah. Turns out it's not fake. You do get one limb amputated.
Social Security's in trouble.
The program is quickly running out of cash.
Millennials and younger don't believe that they're going to see a penny of Social Security.
As a millennial, this has been my introduction to Social Security. It's like the government pulls some money from my paycheck and then it goes into some imaginary fund that maybe I'll never see again. The truth is, I know embarrassingly little about this program that most Americans rely on for retirement. Before you go and dive into the comments, it seems nobody gets it. This poll looked at people near the retirement age who are about to start collecting it. But rather than succumb to the void like I want to, I read entirely too much about it so you don't have to. So, what is Social Security? And is it actually doomed? It's really hard to overstate how important Social Security is.
The official name of Social Security is the Old Age Survivors and Disability Insurance Program.
It can kind of be broken down into three parts. Most people are familiar with the old age one. That's retirement.
It's the biggest source of income for most retirees.
See the chart? Actually, here's an updated one. In 2022, this program alone was responsible for keeping nearly 16.5 million older Americans above the poverty line.
But it's also so important for families. It supports people when a parent or a spouse dies, when they're still of working age. It supports people if they become disabled and are not able to continue working and supporting their families.
Thus, the name. Every U.S. worker pays into Social Security via payroll tax.
Well over 90% of American workers just pay 6.2% of their wages out of every paycheck into Social Security, and then their employers pay another 6.2%.
There is a cap on this tax, though, as in if you make more than a certain amount of money, the government's only going to tax a portion of it for Social Security.
The cap this year is $168,600.
Still with me, or are you sinking into the void of financial lingo? Come back.
This looks and plays exactly like one of your old breakdown videos. Yes, because I'm fucking revolutionary.
We're almost there.
Yes, me and Jeff Bezos do literally pay the same amount on Social Security. Me, Jeff Bezos, and anyone, as a matter of fact, that makes $164,800 a year, I think that's the top cap, is paying the same amount on Social Security. Perhaps this is the reason why so many people who watch Twitch constantly think that I am just as wealthy as Jeff Bezos. This is a mistake. I am nowhere near as wealthy as Jeff Bezos. I simply pay the same amount from a Social Security perspective as Jeff Bezos.
There. Now, you can literally look at your pay stub and see where the Social Security tax comes out.
Brother, you just hit the top cap 5 seconds earlier. Well, I wasn't here for it, so shut the fuck up.
This money goes into 2 trust funds managed by...
You should be more impressed by the fact that I know all of the information that is readily available in this Vox video without actually watching the Vox video because, this is what I do professionally. Sometimes I might not be able to get the numbers correctly, but...
the federal government, and is then used to pay out the people who are currently collecting, typically in the form of monthly checks. When you retire, the size of that check is determined by the average of how much you've made throughout your working life and the age you start to collect.
Oh my God, you're right. Jeff Bezos only pays himself $80K in payroll income when he was CEO of Amazon, so I probably pay more than Jeff Bezos on Social Security.
As of now, retirees can start collecting at age 62.
Is $168,000 the income or Social Security maxes, or the max amount of Social Security you'd be required to pay if you make like No, $168,000 is the maximum income from Social. That will be the Social Security taxes taken out. As in, the person making $100 million and the person making $168,000 is paying the same amount, literally, like in totality. Around $10,000. Social Security payments stop at $10,000. The government only takes a maximum amount of an upper limit of $10,000 from you. Anything beyond that is not taxed.
But they won't max out the benefit unless they wait until they're 70. So, to recap, current workers pour money into trust funds, and those trust funds are used to pay out current beneficiaries. As long as people are working, this tax is being paid and there will always be money in those funds. So why does everybody keep saying it's being drained?
So the reason that Social Security faces a long-term financing shortfall is the aging of the population.
In other words, boomers. Here's a chart of the US population. As you can see, there's a bump here. That's the baby boomer generation. For decades, this giant population was the main workforce that paid into Social Security. That means more people were putting money in than taking money out. So those trust funds that we talked about earlier had a surplus, and the US Treasury took that extra money and invested it. And those investments ultimately gave us a $2.9 trillion reserve. Then came 2021. At this point, Social Security stopped operating in a surplus and actually fell into a deficit because more and more people started to collect.
We just don't have quite as many workers supporting each beneficiary as we used to.
Damn, that's crazy. Good thing there's no way to like just fund it. You know, it's in a deficit, so we're fucking cooked. Like, who cares, man? We're America. The fuck are you talking about? Like, obviously, I'm not doing... There's the MMT version of this, which is like, the fuck are you talking about? Who gives a shit that it's in a deficit? Shut the fuck up and print more money, dumb fuck. And then the second version of this is, even within the confines of like our existing theoretical understanding of how money works in a country like the United States of America, you can still raise the cap from $168,000 to, you know, unlimited cap. You can first remove the cap, or you can move the cap up to like $250,000, for example. Why not $1 million? These are two different things that you can do. But we won't do that.
But it's fine right now, because $2.9 trillion is a nice pile of money that's been supplementing the shortfall. So every Social Security check a beneficiary gets right now is kind of made up of two things. About 80% of that is the trust funds that are being filled by everyone still working, and about 20% is coming from that $2.9 trillion surplus. And that surplus is what's predicted to run out by 2033.
And then after that point, about 10 years from now, there is some uncertainty about what will happen.
What won't happen is a total draining of Social Security. There will always be benefits in some form.
It may look different from the Social Security benefits that are paid now, but there's really no question of whether Social Security benefits will be paid far into the future.
What those benefits look like entirely depends on how
people pay $10K into the system for every approximately $160K they make. So someone making $320K pays $20K. I'm pretty sure they can afford it. Wait, what? No, that's not how this works. People making $160K pay the same amount as people making $320K. Unless you're suggesting how it should work. No. You max out at $10K. So a person making 100... Oh, you're saying if you remove the cap. Yeah, currently as it stands, is basically... I mean, I don't even know if this would be considered a regressive tax. It's like worse than a regressive tax.
Congress decides to restructure the program to get over this baby boomer conundrum.
This episode is presented by Metro by T-Mobile. This tax season,
Talk about the top. There are a few options for restructuring the program. Let's talk about the top 5 in a very bland and unbiased way, starting with the high earners.
A lot of very wealthy people.
It's a regressive tax because the rate is lower the more money you make. No, I understand that. I'm saying that like it's like somehow even worse than a regressive tax. It's an extra regressive tax.
They don't get their
yes,
money
it
through
is a
salaries.
regressive
Like
tax.
I make more in a salary than Jeff Bezos does, for example. And so he pays less in Social Security than I do.
Thanks, Jeff. At least one bill is fighting to add a Social Security tax to high investment income, which is where a lot of rich people make and keep their money. Then there's this. We could remove or change that $168,000 salary cap.
The most popular option is to change the payroll tax cap. You know, either to get rid of it altogether or to raise it so that it covers more of high wage people's earnings.
Seems good to me.
These nets to send people into a rage, but they are kind of the most.
What do you mean? No, don't reduce the benefits. Yeah, it's literally like, I love that the ideas are, here's America, okay? You have two options: kill the poor, okay, or tax the rich, which is kind of like killing the poor, but worse, much, much worse. So we should go with kill the poor. These are not the same thing, okay? It is insane that every fucking financial decision, every tax decision that we make in this fucking country is basically these two things, okay? Do we tax the higher earners more, or do we kill the poor? And America always goes with kill the poor, and has gone with kill the poor in perpetuity. Last time we didn't go with kill the poor was like FDR. Yeah, and your homies making 60K are going to say cut benefits. Exactly. Not realizing that it's their benefits that are being cut. It makes no sense. It is one of the stupidest fucking like perma brain broken mentalities that like every American dumbass has. Everyone thinks they got the Sigma grindset bug in them. Everyone fucking thinks personally that they are going to be the millionaire one day. So like they'll benefit tremendously from the tax cuts that they're advocating for now. You are arguing against your best interest, which is precisely why I don't think you will ever be rich. Obviously, there are a multitude of systematic factors at play here that will stop you from being super rich regardless. But here is one glaring reason why you won't be rich. Because you're fucking stupid, okay? You're stupid. You think the rich do you think the rich advocate against their self-interest, you dumb fuck? No, they don't. They might not be the smartest people. They're very dumb, but at least they're self-interested. This is something that I describe to people all the time. Remember during COVID, we had Trump bucks coming in. And there were a lot of people in my chat who were like, maybe I shouldn't take the government handout. I don't know if I need it. And I was like, hey, man, are you fucking stupid? Well, let me rephrase that. I know you're fucking stupid, okay? You got poor man brain. You got peasant mentality. You got serf mentality. Rich people are the greatest recipients of government assistance. It's just called something different. It's called subsidies. It's called tax cuts. Okay? A rich person has never said no to government money. As a matter of fact, there's an entire industry designed around ensuring that that government money keeps coming in. And if it doesn't come in, they punish you. The politicians, that is. This is why I always say capital owners, capitalists, have class consciousness. Workers, on the other hand, do not, especially in this country. Oh, rich people love government money, dude. Look at Elon Musk. He's the richest person on the fucking planet. Look at that. Elon Musk has never entered an industry that doesn't directly get money from the government, okay? Tesla kept afloat by green energy credit swaps, okay? Tesla was kept afloat by this for the longest fucking time when it was basically underwater. It was slated to be bankrupt. The solar panel business that he launched that failed, also massive handouts from the government. Okay. SpaceX is literally just outsourced. It's an outsourced arm of NASA, which should have stayed in the hands of the government, but now it's not. A rich streamer like you speaking about this is extremely ironic. Yes. And the fact that you get mad at me for saying this is also additionally peasant mentality. Okay? You're doing it right now. I am one of the very few people, especially when you pedal. Oh, fuck, I got cooked. God damn it. I got cooked by a fucking boomer who kept linking me the politically elderly. God damn it. I can't. Fuck you. Fuck you. You know what? This fucking 50-year-old chatter who kept linking me this boomer ass fucking YouTube video that I've watched that I made fun of for consistently linking came back and cooked me. Okay? Here's a bow. Here's a bow for you, sir. You fucking destroyed me. That was very good. That was very, very good. You fucking son of a bitch. God damn it. I am 23, lol. Oh my God. Well, it's pretty funny that you type like a boomer. You're 23, but you have a permanent case of boomer brain. I love when chat wins around. Yeah. Anyway. Fucking cooked. Anyway, yeah. This rich guy's going to be making even more money at the top of the hour as I serve you a 3-minute ad break. 989, you deserve it. You deserve that. That was really good. Anyway. Also, what the fuck? You're 23 years old. You created your account on 2014. That is insane. What the fuck? No wonder you have boomer brain. You've been on this fucking hellish website for 4 years longer than I have. You've been on this fucking website for 10 years. Okay? Of course your brain is broken. Jesus Christ. You probably saw unimaginable shit. Here's the 3-minute ad break now. Brain beyond rotted. Yeah. I don't know how law. Someone was probably using my email for this shit. What do you mean someone? Anyway, where the fuck was I? Yeah. It also is still peasant mentality to be like, okay, rich guy. I know the guy was joking, but there are plenty who will say this. And to them, I say, I don't know what to tell you. Honestly, I have nothing. When I'm in the process of describing, like what rich people do, okay, and how you should advocate for your own self-interest. When someone comes in and goes, shut the fuck up, you're rich, so you're obviously lying to me about this, it literally doesn't make sense. Okay? Yorkie, thank you for the 10 tier 1 gift of subs. It just like simply doesn't make sense because your values are so conflicted in this situation. Because if you like, are you telling me that I should be telling you a lie? Like you expect me to also advocate for my own self-interest? Like, is that what you would like? It doesn't make any sense. They think you're doing reverse psychology, but like, what's the reverse psychology? Like, I'm telling you that like, oh, we should tax the rich more, right? As in reverse psychology, because you'll advocate to tax the rich less then? Okay. But you already recognize that I'm rich. So don't you think that's better for me? Why would I do that instead of fucking saying tax the rich less because The rich are the productive individuals, like the most productive members of society. And that way you wouldn't even hate me, you would love me. That's why it doesn't make sense. Oh, because you know we're all going to be rich soon, so you're trying to keep us down. Okay, got it. Aren't you only upper middle class, though? No, not anymore. I don't know.
Obvious. Raising the payroll tax would immediately start pumping more money into Social Security and help offset the imbalance of beneficiaries and workers. And cutting the amount each person can actually receive would balance those scales even further. But this is wildly unpopular across party lines and with the public. Granted, if Congress were to do nothing...
You say that with stank? It's honesty. This is one of the very few communities online where, like, to a fault, poverty is seen as like a benefit, as a good thing. It shows like how real you are. So the stank of it comes from me being a little bit disgusted, but also like a little bit disgusted with a system that is so fundamentally broken that it creates such glaring income inequality, even in a small circle like this. But it also is, I mean, it's a recognition of how broken this shit is. But it's also basically me admitting to something, copping to something that is otherwise considered bad. Can I get a 1-day ban? No. Oh shit. Weeby fucking cooked you so fast. Holy shit. God damn, Weeby. There was like 3 people that were able to type before you banned them. That took you, I think, literally 2 seconds. Yeah. Also, the American class system is purposely created in a way that it basically mystifies real class politics, which is working class versus capital ownership. Here, the American class system is bizarre because nobody calls themselves upper class. Like, you can make $500K a year with a net worth of $5 million, and you still call yourself upper middle class. I'm sure people will come to inform me that this is in fact upper middle class. It's gauche to admit being wealthy, so a lot of American kids have to basically be privately informed by their parents that they're rich and instructed to refer to themselves as upper middle class. Yeah. I mean, think about it this way. I've never made it a secret that I come from like very affluent beginnings, right? And people regularly, and obviously I was not as financially fortunate for all of my life. There were definitely massive gaps of struggle. Having said that, however, people will routinely turn around and be like, dude, shut the fuck up, trust fund kid. It's like, it's not true. I never had a trust fund. But my father specifically, was very wealthy when I was growing up. Lost all of it by the time I got to college, but still, it's something that informs me, and it's something that I use all the time when the likes of Ben Shapiro fucking lie about how wealth works. One thing that Ben always says, okay? One thing that Ben always says is like, well, actually, only fucking 10% of people actually get like money from their parents when their parents die. That's not how wealth works, dumbass. That's not how wealth works at all. And he's just fucking lying to the American population to make it seem like the wealthy only give their wealth down or pass their wealth down a generation when they pass away. That's not how that works. That's not how that shit works at all. As someone who, once again, got a tremendous amount of advantages as a consequence of an affluent beginning, okay? As a consequence of an affluent beginning, I saw the many benefits of it. I saw both sides of this situation. I also was not able to take advantage of my dad's network, right, in Turkey, because I didn't I chose to come to America on my own. So because of that reason, I got to see both sides of this conversation. And the reality is that it doesn't matter. The affluent beginnings if you come from like a wealthy family, you do get a shit ton of benefits, shit ton of unimaginable benefits, invisible benefits. Okay. And those benefits continue even if your parents don't fucking hand you like $1 million. Okay. That's not how that works at all. The benefits are, for example, not having to worry about finances, not having to work a job, being able to focus on your passions, your hobbies on top of your schoolwork. These are all massively important things that play a profound role in the upper hand that you get over people who don't have those privileges. Okay? Something that I have talked about quite a bit. Then there's also connections. The school that you are able to get into, the best schools that you are able to get into, and the networks that you can develop when you get into those schools. The cultural capital of being wealthy when you're young doesn't go away. That's something you use every single day when interfacing in society. Yes. I don't even disagree with this. This is something that I talk about when I talk about my own personal privilege. Obviously, going to Rutgers University and I mean, me going to Rutgers alone is like a great example of like how that privilege goes away when you switch continents a little bit. But it doesn't really matter. Right? Because I still have that foundation. I still had that foundation. So it helped a lot.
In 2033, benefits would automatically decrease. And this option? You've probably heard this before. It did not go over well in France.
Raising the full retirement age is a benefit cut.
I actually got a hater who said your dad's a Turkish billionaire to shut up by pointing out you studied in Rutgers. It was pretty funny. Yeah, dude. But you don't understand. You don't get it. It's a secret. My dad actually wanted to hide how wealthy we are. That's why I went to Rutgers. Because he knew inevitably that I would become a famous socialist political commentator. That was in the cards for him. So we just, it's always been a secret.
Full stop for everybody. It means 7% lower benefits over a lifetime on average for each year that you raise the retirement age.
It's hard to predict exactly what Congress will do, but it's very likely they'll wait until the 11th hour to do it.
Because nobody really likes passing a benefit cut or a tax increase. For today's workers, the options are not a lot of fun. I mean, it's either you pay...
Your parents communist? Fuck no, dude. What the fuck? How many of you have parents with identical politics? What the fuck? That's so funny. I don't know a single person whose parents have like the same politics as them.
Pay more or you get less or some combination thereof.
No matter what choice or combination of choices is made, there will be losers. Of all the things we can't agree on in the US, it's clear that across party lines and all ages, people value Social Security.
One of the beauties of the Social Security program is it's sort of like we're all in this together. We're all funding these benefits, we're all benefiting from them, and it's kind of a compact between generations to take care of each other when we face retirement, death, or disability.